So over the past 2 years, I have changed just about everything about myself. And during that time, there's been ups and downs. I've had to learn a lot of lessons, but I can tell you there are 3 decisions that I've made along this journey that if I hadn't made them, I would not be headed in the right direction in life. And I don't think that I would be where I'm at today. Now, be sure to stick around to the end and get all 3 of these decisions I'm about to tell you about, because these can really change everything. I'm telling you, if you don't get these 3, I really don't believe you can be successful. And I think if you do get these 3, you can be successful. Now, before we get into that, my name's Keith. I made this channel to help men create their ideal lives through self-mastery. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Hit the bell icon. Let's get straight into it. The first decision that I made was the decision to start taking responsibility for my life and to stop being a victim. Now, at this time, when I was 20 years old, I was in college. I smoked weed just about every single day, which had a detrimental effect on my ability to get schoolwork done and work on anything that I really wanted to do with my life, combined with the fact that I drank a lot. I remember my first college exam that I ever took. I literally showed up to it like 10 minutes late because I woke up late because the night before it I'd gotten so drunk that I'd been throwing up in a bathroom at 3 in the morning. I ended up, needless to say, failing the exam. And just these kinds of decisions and acting like my life wasn't in my hands and just acting in a way that was not constructive or helpful for me in my life. And so it just hit me one time. It's like it finally hit me really hard when I failed a couple college classes and I had to look in the mirror and ask myself, like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I out here making these bad decisions? Why am I clearly I'm not in alignment with what I want to do? Because if I really was passionate about going to school, first of all, then I would not allow myself to do this poorly on classes. And also, why am I making these decisions? Why am I allowing myself to go down this path? I know I can do so much good. Why am I allowing this to happen? And so it was in that moment that it finally clicked for me, and I decided it was time to take responsibility for my life and just stop being a victim and stop acting like everything was out of my control. And the more I go along, the more I realize what is within my control. It just continues to grow, and I continue to realize the more I get myself aimed in the right direction, the more things will work out. And so that just shows you that everything's really within your control to some degree. Now, I'm not saying that you can just through force of mind make the world do what you want. There's a part of this that part of the decision to take responsibility for your life also comes with an acceptance that life is going to do what life does, and you can control you and your decisions and your reactions to situations. And that is what I'm talking about when I come to taking responsibility. So after I made this decision, I made the responsibility to decide for myself what I wanted for my life, to get some goals in alignment, to prioritize the things that were important and stop prioritizing things that weren't constructive. I quit making excuses for things. I always tell people, before I made this decision, I believe I'd been in 4 car crashes, and I think all of them were my fault. And I just made the decision after I did this, along with a lot of other things. I said, I'm taking responsibility for this, because before that it was there was nothing I could do, even though it was my fault. I'd always have an excuse for why I'd been in the wreck, or I'd have an excuse for why it was not within my control that I failed an exam, or it was not within my control that I didn't have any money, even though I spent it all on stupid stuff. And when I made this decision, I haven't had a wreck since, knock on wood, but I haven't had a wreck since. And I really think it's just because I just decided, I'm just not going to allow this to happen. I'm not going to be so out of control. I'm going to take responsibility for my life. I'm going to take responsibility for my driving. I'm going to take responsibility for where my money goes. I'm going to take responsibility for the direction my life is heading in general. And this had a profound impact on the way the rest of my life has unfolded to this point. The second decision I made was to stop letting other people tell me what would make me happy. This was part of what it was like for me to be drinking all the time and smoking all the time and playing video games all the time and just doing unconstructive things, is because I had not gotten my own sense of identity for myself. I was letting other people tell me what I should want in the world because I hadn't figured it out for myself. And part of this is growing. Obviously, when you're growing up, you listen to other people to kind of get an idea for what you should think in the world because you're a kid. But by this point, I wasn't really a kid anymore, and I should have had been my own mental point of origin and known my own truth, and I hadn't figured it out yet. And I made the decision that I would wake up a lot of times hungover or I would spend my money on smoking weed so that I could zone out and really do nothing with the day. And every time I did it, I would be asking myself, there's like this voice in my head that would ask me every time I did this, like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? And I would just keep on going. And it was just because I was letting other people tell me what I should want. Other people were telling me I should want to go have a bunch of casual sex with girls I don't care about. Other people were telling me I should want to hang out and waste the day and spend my money on crap and get drunk as much as possible and smoke weed as much as possible and just indulge myself in low-level pleasures as much as possible. And I was letting other people tell me that's what I should want. I was letting other people tell me I should want to go to college and be in a fraternity and do all these things that weren't me. I had no real sense of identity. And as I look back on my life, maybe someday I'll put up a video where I'll kind of do like a how I got here kind of video, and I'll show you guys like there's different phases in my life where it's like I'm completely dressing different, I'm completely talking different, I'm completely acting different, and it's just different phases. And I went through these phases because I was trying to figure out me, because other people were telling me what I should think and I wasn't asking myself what I should think. So I started asking myself, what would make me happy? What is it I believe in the world? What is my truth? Not what other people tell me the truth is. What is my truth? And when I started to do that, I started to realize I don't enjoy smoking weed, and I don't care if other people do. I don't enjoy drinking, and I don't care if other people do. These are the things I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about building a future for myself and my family. I'm passionate about having an impact in these areas in the world. This is what I enjoy. This is what matters to me, and that's my truth. And when you start to do that, first of all, you get more inner conviction. You also will become more attractive as a result, because you've got an inner compass about you that's very obvious. But also you just are way more happy, you're more purposeful, like your life just kind of, like the clutter kind of clears away. It takes some time, but the clutter will start to clear out of your life, and your life will become strictly that which you are aiming at. And I notice sometimes in my life today that everything I have in my life, the things I do during my day, the things I pursue, they're all in accordance with what matters to me. So it just brings happiness to my day all day to do these things, and that's really a blessing. And it only comes when you start asking yourself, what will make me happy? What is my truth? What is it I want to do with my life? Start asking yourself these kinds of questions instead of asking other people. Third decision I made was to truly believe in the good and try to do the right thing. Now, obviously I don't do this all the time. Nobody's perfect, but look at your life and look at the amount of times you try to get ahead on people, right? Like maybe you go through the line at a restaurant or something like that. Like maybe you're ordering food at a restaurant, you try to like gyp the waiter, or you lie about what you ordered. Like if you're going through like a Subway or Chipotle or something, they ask you what'd you get on your food, and you lie about it to save a few dollars, or you mislead a girl because you're trying to get a specific result out of her, or you embellish a story to your friends because you want them to think a certain way about you. Just look at how much of you as a person, like psychologically, is not really aiming in a positive moral direction. It's aiming in an egoic, like get ahead kind of direction. And I started to realize that, and just started to have faith in the idea that perhaps I could get short-term gains out of being deceptive and lying and cheating and stealing and all these things, but in the long run, it's not going to pay off. And I've watched this happen, like making the right moral decision over time proves itself to be the correct decision, whether or not in the short term it looks like the right decision. So I made the conscious effort that I'm going to live by the good. And by that, for me, I mean like having a compass that's sort of oriented towards God in that regard. You don't necessarily have to be thinking that way, but just, you have a conscience and you know what the right thing is, and that voice in your head that tells you you're not doing the right thing that oftentimes we ignore, stop ignoring it and start doing what it says. Start doing the right thing. And it'll shape your life correctly. I think a lot of people, they love to rationalize away the reason to be moral, right? Like I know like red pill kind of guys in dating, they'll rationalize away the fact that they're basically lying and manipulating women most of the time to get what they want out of them. Or pickup artists do the same thing, and they rationalize it away by saying, well, I just like, this is the psychology of women, or hypergamy, or they throw some words around and justify the fact that they're acting completely immoral. And I'm not here to judge, like we've all got to figure this out on our own, and I had to figure that out for myself. But personally, I've just found that choosing to do the right thing works out in the long run. Maybe you can get short-term gains out of cheating the system, but we're playing this game for the long run, and we want to do the right thing over the long haul. And I really believe this pays off in your life in ways that you really can't understand, because I just really believe there is something out there that has a broader perspective than we do living here, and everything lines up when you just act in accordance with your conscience and do the right thing morally. Guys, if you like this video, you're definitely going to want to check out this video right here. Also, if you got something out of this video, hit the like button so I can reach more guys with my message. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk soon.